like slowly creeps up sweet spot. Teeny tiny sweet spot. Oh well. I'll get it. We'll fix it in
All right.
post.
Well, you sound okay on my side. So, all right. Well, welcome back to Chris Frank Games, a video game podcast with myself, Chris Stats, the Chris, and as always, Frank White, the Frank. Frank, how's it going?
Oh, it's going pretty good. I've just been thinking about the alternate dimension where, Mario and Sonic have a podcast about us.
Have you been taking peyote, Frank?
I wish. Wait, doesn't that make you throw up? No. No.
Yeah, well, you get so high you want to eat the vomit later. I guess that's the thing. That's what I've heard. Crazy stories. All right. Well, we don't need to talk about scat or vomit type stuff.
Yeah, I've already been puked on once today.
Well, hopefully that's your infant doing that.
Yeah.
That's some crazy sex dungeon that you have below. But no, we're gonna talk about some more pleasant things like video games. And we're going to talk about consumer products that make us feel good and make us feel nostalgic about our childhood. So if you'd like to take that journey with us, by all means, you're welcome. All right, so we're going to go over the news, and we'll go over all the latest news, talk about the latest video game news, and we will talk about the games we've been playing. Pretty standard fare around these video game parts. So let's start off with the news. And start off, as always, with some Nintendo news. I guess it was a Wall Street Journal. I'm not sure what newspaper it was. Maybe it was the Washington Post. Who knows? I don't think people come here for accuracy. But there's a new Switch being designed by Nintendo, and it's probably going to be coming out in 2019. So for Nintendo,
Is it the Switch U?
yeah, Switch you, man. No, well, Nintendo of course makes several different iterations of their handhelds, going back way from the Game Boy, the original Game Boy. And the most recently the DS and the 3DS. So I think they're kind of short on details, but they talk about like a better screen specifically. So yeah, I think this is probably gonna be a slightly better screen with probably better efficiency with the battery. But I think this might be an XL, actually. This may be like a bigger version
Hmm.
of it. So I won't be surprised if you see a bigger screen. So,
Well, I can fit more, you know, microchips inside.
yeah. Well, I don't think it's going to be like an upgraded hardware chip. I don't think they want to split up the, whatever
Well, okay, bigger battery.
already. But that will definitely be coming like later. Just like how there was a new 3DS with a bigger chip or a stronger, what do you call it, more powerful chip.
Nintendo Switch Advance.
Yeah, new Switch will come up. But I think this is going to be an XL. That's what I
The
believe.
Nintendo Switch 3D 2DS.
Yeah, maybe we'll have a 3D screen on there. Probably not. I don't think it's going to have an OLED screen. I don't think they're gonna. I think that'll be put the price too much. So, all right. So exciting.
Maybe it'll be one of those bendable things. You can like bend it and twist it.
Oh yeah. I'm sure we'll be there by that time. All right, so new Switch. All right, great. So get your pocket. Frank, are you've actually held a Switch? I mean, it seems like we're going to be talking about a game on coming on the Switch that you might be interested in. I mean, any with a new Switch coming out? I mean, do you maybe think you may consider that in 2019?
I don't have the time to play the video games that I have.
Yeah, don't need like
Maybe a
another
whole
console.
other avenue to bring video games into my life.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, there you go. The new Switch. All right, and then more Nintendo news. Let me see if I can. The Nintendo Online service continues to chug along, and even though the online service is only like 2 weeks old, they're already giving you new games for October, which is Super Dodgeball. I guess is kind of the highlight. I've never actually played that, but that was kind of like a cult classic, right, for the NES. Did you ever play Super Dodgeball, Frank?
I did not. I've only ever played normal dodgeball.
Okay. There's a normal Dodgeball NES cartridge?
No,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not actual dodgeball.
Okay, you're talking about like real dodgeball in real
Yeah.
life. Yeah.
I don't know what the difference is between normal and super dodgeball.
Yeah. Well.
And it's confusing when Nintendo uses the term super for things that are on the NES.
For an NES game, yeah.
So I'm like, you gotta save that for the Super Nintendo version.
Yeah. Isn't there like a Super RC Pro-Am on the NES? Is that correct?
Probably.
I think that's correct.
What did they do when they made a Super Nintendo sequel to it? Super
I
Super.
don't know.
Like the Moon.
Yeah, and then like so then there's like Mario Golf World Tour, which is actually kind of a cool golf game for the NES, which is actually pretty impressive. I didn't have that game as a kid, but I mean, but going back to Super Dodgeball, I saw some video of it. Very flickery, a lot of flickering going on. Like all the characters are flickering all the time, so it doesn't look great. And then Solomon's Quest or Lost Solomon or something. Frank, do you have any idea? Have you played that game at all?
No.
No, yeah, I've never heard of that game either before. So, and then, not only that, but they slipped in an extra bonus: Zelda, The Legend of Zelda SP. And
this is the easy version.
Well, this is a version where you start off and you have all of the weapons, all the tools. So this is basically the Justin Bailey code for Zelda.
It's the Zelda skipping the bullshit edition.
Yeah, exactly. So I can definitely see people like playing Zelda for like 5 minutes and be like, what? What am I supposed to do? And then if you got all this stuff, the landscape.
Yeah,
and stuff
it was back in the day you had that was the only game you had, or one of two, so you had a lot of time to sit around and figure out how the heck you get a damn sword.
Yeah, you had time to burn every bush on the screen looking for that dungeon. So that's cool. Nice little bonus that they give you for your $20. All right, and then another game. I'm sorry, you want to add to that?
No, I got nothing. I got nothing to add.
All right, and then another trailer that they showed off is a game called The Missing. And what's The Missing? Well, it's from the guy from D4, which I guess is a 32-bit game, like a Saturn and a 3DO game,
no,
right?
No, D4 was Xbox One. That's a newer game.
Oh, really?
That was like an Xbox One launch title.
Oh, okay. All right. And then Deadly Premonition. So some Japanese dude. What's this guy's name? Do you know his name?
Swery65.
Swery65. That's not his PSN name that he's going to change in 5 minutes? No.
It's like it's Hideki Swearo or something, but he goes by Swery. He's like Suda51, or they're like, I'm gonna have my nom de plume with just like a word and a number.
Yeah, like Prince or Cher or something like that.
Presumably they're birth dates or something. I don't know. They're getting old.
So The Missing. Did you check this out?
I actually have been trying to find it all day because it was supposed to come out today. It came out on Steam. It's supposed to be out on PS4. And I was actually just before the show looking again at the PlayStation Store, and it is not there. And any direct links you find to take you there go to a page missing. So I don't know if we got to wait till Tuesday for the store to update. Is that the problem? Or if they just didn't plan this out, or if maybe it's going to pop up at midnight tonight. Who knows?
So what? This looks like a 2D kind of weird ass adventure game, kind of.
Well, it's a puzzle platformer. Your limbo kind of thing, with the twist here being that you can't die. But there's lots and lots of lethal hazards all around that maim and mutilate the character, and this is actually used to solve puzzles. Like, you will have to light yourself on fire in order, how in games there's you got a puzzle where you got to stick the torch in the fire and then take it to the the other torch to light that, to activate a door or whatever, that kind of thing. Well, it's like that, except in this game you just light yourself on fire and you run screaming down the hall into whatever you need lit up or, ignited.
I see.
So that's the shtick. Or
So
like I know there's lots of like, you know, maiming your like stopping a machine by like just having your severed limbs clog up its gears, that kind of thing.
yeah. So you're definitely down for this. You're ready to purchase this if they just gave you a way to buy it.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I mean, I don't know what I don't know what the pricing is.
Yeah, very cryptic.
So yeah, so I was just very curious. Just gonna take a look. I don't know. It might be a wait for the first sale or something.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of times nowadays, games day one, gets the PlayStation Plus price or whatever sometimes, and so I was keeping my eyes peeled, but it hasn't showed up yet.
Okay. All right. So The Missing by Sweara54. Is that his name?
Sweary65.
Sweara65. Okay, there you go.
So he's the Deadly Premonition guy. So there's definitely going to be some Twin Peaks pastiche in this because he loves Twin Peaks.
All right, nice. All right, there you go.
Hell, the Japanese people love Twin Peaks.
Yeah, doesn't Hideo Kojima love Twin Peaks too?
Well, I don't know if he was like a super duper fan originally, but I know like he liked the new series so much that he made everybody working on Death Stranding watch it.
Oh yeah.
So the entire Death Stranding dev team was like, "Here's your homework." Mm-hmm. Hideo says, "Go watch Twin Peaks."
I see. All right. Well, from the cloud gaming department, Microsoft is following suit with Google and officially announcing their X Cloud, and there's going to be a beta in 2019. And this is coming soon, folks. This is not 5 years away, as we said last week. They showed a little trailer of it, and yes, you're gonna be able to play your Xbox games on a tablet, on your phone, on a computer, wherever it's got a screen connected to the internet. And then they showed someone playing Halo on like an iPad or something like that with touch controls. And
the worst of all worlds.
Yeah, I'm gonna say no thanks to that. But these kids these days, they like this stuff though, right? I mean, they don't mind the touch controls.
Well, apparently it's working for Fortnite. So
yeah, and PUBG Mobile and all this stuff. So, and then they said that they would make it really easy for publishers and developers to implement just like really basic, I guess, really generic like control schemes for like touch controls. For a first-person controller, not a controller, but a first-person, overlay and like a driving. I think they showed Forza 4. So yeah, so that's kind of nice. I mean, they also showed a kind of a contraption where you got a phone connected to a Xbox controller with some sort of doohickey. That's what I would do. I mean, I would, that'd be pretty cool playing like an Xbox game on your iPhone Max S, playing Halo with a Xbox controller. That'd be pretty cool. I can see doing that. So, I think this is really. I think these console manufacturers, I think they're salivating at this because they can sell games to people that can't afford a $400 box or a $300 box, right? I mean. And that's the other question. Are you going to be able? Do you need Xbox Live? Are you going to have to pay for Xbox Live, or are you just going to be able to pay games? Are you going to be able to pay Game Pass? What kind of options are they going to give you?
They're going to give you ones that involve them getting lots of money.
Yeah, exactly. So I think they'll make money somehow. So then what's going to happen when they can give you these games streaming? But then they still have to sell you a box for all these twitchy games, these twitchy control games. I mean, it's gonna be disruptive.
It's gonna be a slow adoption process anyway. So
yeah, I can see more.
They're gonna feel it out. This thing isn't gonna come out of the starting gate fully formed. It's gonna be treated like a Rockstar Games multiplayer component, and we'll just figure it out. We'll do the skeleton.
Build on it.
Out from there.
Well, it'll probably be more like a casual service for filthy casuals, no, but for casual games like Sea of Thieves. I mean, probably Forza will probably be okay if it's just single player. I mean, even multiplayer, you could probably do a driving game. But yeah, I mean, for something like Halo multiplayer, yeah, I don't know if it's there yet to do that. But again, who knows? So, all right.
Just a side note, your notes here was capital M, lowercase s, xCloud. So I thought we were about to talk about a game that was like Miss xCloud, like Miss Pac-Man.
Oh, Miss
It's the xCloud, but it's got a bow.
That's gonna be the launch title, Miss xCloud. All right, and then this is very purely secondhand hearsay, but I was listening to the watching the Giant Bombcast this past week, and Jeff Gersman was talking about Ring of Elysian, which is this battlegrounds. I shouldn't say battlegrounds, but a battle royale game from Tencent, the huge Chinese conglomerate game. So it's this free battle royale game, and there's rumors on the internet saying that there's spyware along with this free-to-play battle royale game. But Jeff was saying that he actually didn't find anything that was actually concrete, saying, "Hey, this is real and this is like exists." It's just a lot of like,
Yeah. Well, they've been walking back a lot of this, like in general, like a lot of this stuff has been getting walked back, like. The big story the other day about the
Bloomberg story,
week, the servers, with the it was like Chinese server motherboards that had like they found a mysterious extra chip on them, and they're like this is some kind of hardware manufacturing backdoor thing, and it was a pretty big story, and then but just they keep poking holes in it, like no one. Well, for one, like no company that would have been affected has been willing to say, yes, this occurred. And like most of them, like Apple, have been forcefully denying it. And then the tech guys kind of got involved and were like poking a lot of holes in the story. And so now they're thinking maybe even like the Heartbleed story from a while back was maybe severely overblown as well. So. Yeah, for those of us who aren't, tech security experts,
IT experts.
Yeah, who knows what to believe anymore?
Well, I just gotta use a Mac, right? Just gotta use a Mac. You should be good. Well, you should be good in this case because you can't play this game on your Mac, so you should be good.
There you go.
No, I don't know about that, but yeah. Well, I mean, whether this company Tencent even knows about this, I mean, it's pretty easy. I shouldn't say easy, but these intelligence services, they're really good at like whether just leaving a bundle of USB drives in the parking lot and then people picking them up. I mean, there's bunches of ways that they could infiltrate the software. I mean, all you gotta do is like bribe some programmer making shit. Hey, bundle, dig this deep into the code or something.
Well,
right?
And word on the street is that corporate focused Chinese espionage is on the uptick because apparently Obama and Z I don't know how to pronounce Chinese president's name. Had an agreement of some sorts, and it basically Chinese like hacking attempts were down 90% after this agreement. The various government things, trying to steal military secrets and stuff, that all just continued on as normal, but the more kind of secondary stuff of let's get backdoors in corporations and manufacturers and stuff abated quite a bit, and it seems to be ticking back up.
Yeah,
whatever
shocking
agreement they had, Trump has probably ruined it.
Yeah, well, $20 billion in unnecessary tariffs probably would. All right, well,
keep your fans of that.
All right, there you go. All right, so anyways, that's probably all just hearsay and all that stuff, that Rings of Elysian. So again, I don't think there's actually been any proof, although that story is a couple days old, so maybe it's out there. But again, hopefully you're not coming here for facts or accuracy, because we're not.
Just double check.
We're not about that. We're a fan podcast. Okay, we can't be asked to look up stuff. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Sue us.
Well, do you have a PSVR in your closet? Are you looking for a big, meaty single-player game? Well, Borderlands 2 might be the answer. Gearbox announced Borderlands 2 will be available for $59. So if you already bought it for $60 the first time, pay up. Pay up, sucker. Pay up.
It's weird that it's just Borderlands 2.
Yeah.
Like, apparently it was too much effort to make like a new, VR focused Borderlands game. We're just gonna take Borderlands 2, remove multiplayer, and add VR.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if I'm sure it's probably all the DLC, so I'm sure there's a bunch of shit with it. So, but yeah, no multiplayer. So that kind of sucks.
Yeah, Borderlands is boring without multiplayer.
Yeah. You're just shooting shit pretty much, and you're collecting hides and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, that really sucks. But yeah, I mean, I tried to get into Borderlands, but by the time I got it and started playing with all my friends, they were like 10 levels ahead of me, and I couldn't keep up. So yeah, I stopped playing. But I like the aesthetic, I like the music and all that stuff. But the writing, I'm not a big fan of the writing. But I always kind of like that universe. I think it should be better, but. But I mean, yeah, again, if you're looking for a VR game with, there's a ton of shit to do in Borderlands, so hopefully it works pretty well. It'll be interesting to see what the reviews are when it comes out. So, all right, there you go. Okay, I guess this is a thing, but the tyranny of not being able to edit your PSN username is finally over, and Sony announced that you will be able to change your PSN name. So if you have Stoner Dickhead 420XXX and you're trying to get a job and you're trying to play with your boss, you can change it. And the first one will be free. There we go. And after that, it'll be $10 a pop. And then PS Plus members will be $5. Now here's kind of the interesting thing. This is going to be compatible with all games after April 1st, and then only available for the most popular games released before then. So I don't know what kind of the thing behind that, the logic is behind that. I'm sure it's kind of weird programming stuff.
Yeah, well, I think it is due to like the PlayStation Network being built originally for PlayStation 3. Like that seems to be the heart of all the weirdness is that this all started with the PlayStation 3, which was a like weirdly designed console compared to everything else from a technical standpoint.
And they didn't know what they were doing when they were building that network either at the time.
Yeah, I mean, so like that's why the whole like trophy synchronizing thing, like. When a trophy pops, like it doesn't actually like go to your account until it gets a chance to like ping the server and sync the trophies, which is actually like if I go back and play PS3 games, because I've got an old account with lots and lots of games on it, it takes minutes to sync the trophies, and yeah, so like the weirdness, like my wife's trophies, like she hasn't signed into PlayStation Network in forever, and I don't think she remembers her password. So like when I got the new PlayStation, I was like, oh yeah, we have to hook up the old one and then log you in, or you'll lose all your trophies that you got ever since the last time that you logged in. And she doesn't care. But yeah, that's just a weird thing of like they're not just there, like they're so stored locally and have to be synced. So I'm assuming this is something similar to that, where it's like just like this is based on legacy code or legacy systems. So yeah, I think for most people who are like you want to just make sure that like you're boner 69 instead of just boner fart 69
or Mr. Boner 69.
Yeah,
you're married or Mrs. you married.
You've been married, so now it's Mr. Boner. For playing modern games, I think that like the people who want this, I think are going to be fine, but like don't do it for the heck of it, especially if you play older games or like me with a who still goes back to the PS3 once in a while, because everything is going to be broken as heck. Like you're gonna run into weird errors. Who knows what it's gonna break?
Yeah, that's the question. Like, what is it gonna say? Your old name, or is it just gonna say like a bunch of glitches, like weird characters? That's what I want to know.
probably the old name, and then it's probably going to cause like really, really unexpected problems like crashes or things.
Or
It's going to cause problems that you wouldn't expect it to cause.
or you can't join your friend's party or something like that. I bet something like
Yeah.
that. All right, so are you gonna? Do you have any desire to change your name on PSN?
No, I don't
Yeah.
care. It's one of those things like editing tweets that people are always asking for, and I'm like, well, I see more problems with it than solutions here.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, all right. So there you go. Yeah, I have no desire to do that. So, but I'll sell it to someone. Can I sell it to someone? My change for free for $10. Go do that. All right. Well, Black Ops 4, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 is imminent upon us. I think it comes out on Friday, which is tomorrow. Today, as tomorrow as we no wait today as you watch this tomorrow as we record this. It comes out, and then
That was my brain exploding.
Digital Foundry kind of had an interesting. I guess when at Gamescom they talked to the team in Berlin, John Lanneman, and he kind of talked to them about the tech behind the Black Ops. The Blackout Battle Royale, highly anticipated mode. And I've been on this podcast saying, their engine can't handle this, this big area and all this stuff because it's all this small area. And this guy is almost like he was talking to me, Frank, one of these producers over there. And he says, he basically said that people that say our engine can't handle this, it can't do this, well, they're wrong. We have great programmers and we can handle pretty much anything we need to do and blah, 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 blah. So, all right, I guess.
He then added, fuck you, Chris.
Yeah, and that guy from Chris Frank Games, you don't know what you're talking about, buddy. Check this out. So I guess he made my ignorant ass look like a fool. But yeah.
Change the PSN name, you're going to be blocked.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I might have to change it now. But yeah, so if you're, it's actually pretty interesting. They kind of talk about some tech stuff and, and the frame rates and all this stuff and how it's going to be optimized and blah, 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 blah. So if you're interested about that Tingle stuff, go and check it out, Digital Foundry. And then they also, speaking of Digital Foundry, he also did an analysis of Mega Man 11, which is the Capcom Mega Man update, and that kind of...
yeah, it's the first mainline Mega Man game to... Or did 10? Was 10 all 8-bit? Or
I think 10 was still 8-bit, right?
9 was, I know.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I'm not a Mega Man fan, so I have no idea.
Yeah, okay. So there you go. Don't come to us for definitive facts.
Yep, exactly.
But this one's got the 2.5D style. It's not 8-bit anymore.
I gotta say though, it looks great. Have you seen footage of it at all?
Yeah, actually, I watched the honest trailers for it.
Oh yeah.
So that was what I saw.
The animation looks great. It's colorful. I mean, it's a really great looking game, and it's lock solid 60 frames on all the consoles, including the Switch. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, they've definitely captured the essence, even with the change in art style. I'm still not interested because Mega Man's too damn hard.
Well, and then on this Digital Foundry video, they actually showed footage of like the 16-bit Mega Mans and the 32-bit I mean, God, those games look like garbage. Like the pixel art and all that stuff. Oh, just so disgusting. Looks really, really bad.
I think Mega Man X holds up.
I think so. I don't know. Check it out. Like recently. I don't know. I think it's just too many weird colors and all this stuff. So, okay.
I think I've got like Mega Man X 2 or 3. Like the PlayStation ones, and they look pretty decent.
Yeah, I think I say go back because these people doing these 2D art games these days looks way better than I think some of those.
Well, it's doing it at a higher resolution these days.
Yeah, that might be it too.
These things are all still 640 by 480.
Oh yeah, all right, you might be right there, but yeah, still. Yeah, but still. All right, all right. Did you have any news for us today?
No.
Okay, makes things easy. Sounds good. All right, so let's take a break, and we'll be right back with the games we've been playing. All right, I'm good. Are you good?
Yeah, I'm good. Are we YouTubing this one?
Yeah, we're going live right now.
Okay, I should really stop chewing on my nails then.
Were you? I don't think I saw you.
I'm subtle about it, but still, you can freeze frame it on YouTube.
Yeah, that'll be the photo, the cover photo. All right. All right. Well, we are back, and we'll talk about the games we've been playing. Let me just hit up for Axiom Verge really quick. I feel like I'm really, really close to finish it. I finally. It kind of gets to these. I'm kind of near the end there, where like you get these powers, and then you're not really sure. You can't because you have the whole map pretty much opened up. You're not really sure where to go exactly. So every time you open up a new power, what I've been doing is just pretty much going through the whole game over again. And sometimes it's fun. After a while, it kind of gets really annoying. And then at times I kind of like thought about, oh man, I gotta play this game. I'm not really sure where to go, and blah 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 blah. And then you'll just finally like walk upon something, and something will click, and you'll be like, oh, okay, now I know what to do, or oh, I can't believe I missed that, or well, I totally forgot about this spot. And I finally got the one where the drone, where you can shoot the drone at, and then you warp to where the drone is. So I feel like that's probably like the final power. I feel like I don't spoil it for me, Frank, but
No, I don't remember.
I feel like I'm and also I don't really have that much shit to go to anymore. I'm running out of options of where to go. So I feel like I'm really almost finished with it. So oh yeah, and then one other thing. So I've been playing it on the Switch, handheld mode, and the left, it's not a D-pad. The left where the D-pad should be, it's these 4 buttons, and it's not a D-pad. There's a move in this game where if you go, left up, like double tap up in a direction really quick, you do a quick dash, and warp through walls and all that stuff. Well, there's a mode where you can actually do like side, the 8 directions, you go sideways, but like with those with those 4 buttons as your D-pad, it's like almost impossible, you know. And then
do it diagonally.
yeah, right, exactly. And then with the joystick, using that, I'm going back and forth, and I'm triggering that constantly out by accident, because I'm just like by nature, just with this side scroller, I'm just going back and forth really quick, and it thinks I want to dash, so it's screwing up some of these jumps. So it'd be nice if there's some way to like turn that off or on. That's like one of my complaints. I've actually had to play it on my big screen and then use the Switch Pro controller. That actually like has a real D-pad to like when I have to do some really really fine-tuned 2D movements. So that's kind of a disappointing because the game doesn't look great on a blown up on a big screen. It looks bigger, like smaller pixels and all that stuff. So it's kind of disappointing in that regard. But yeah, but I of course I'm still enjoying it. So I think that's like one of my main complaints. It's just that, but it's a Switch problem though. So I'm sure you had no problem with that when you played on the PS4. So I'm
Yeah, I don't
not.
recall.
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Okay. All right. So yeah, that's really all I've been doing lately. So Frank, what have you got us for
Well,
for us?
also in Metroidvania news, like going along with that, I have stopped in Hollow Knight, going. Like I've decided I need 2 powers before I can warrant like doing the sweep of the map, because I did I got there was there's dark areas in the game, and so I got a lantern, which was actually like rather than an item that you find, you purchase it at the store and it just costs a lot right off the bat. So I raised up the funds to buy it, and then went into like the one dark area that I could remember off the top of my head, which ended up being a really short area with just like one of the items that you need 4 of to increase your health bar in there. So not a bust, but I was like, oh well.
You're like, oh my god, this must be the end almost, and then it's like nothing. It's like some bullshit.
Like, okay.
Damn.
That's it in here. This is that whole area. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, I think maybe I'm gonna, because this game is just so sprawling. I think I'm gonna wait until I have at least 2 new things before I go back to the early areas.
Yeah.
But having a lot of fun with it. Haven't played it a ton because I was still playing Destiny, which I've deleted off of my PlayStation because after beating the campaign and then being pushed into like the brave new world of what the game actually wants you to be doing, I was like, oh, this is anti-fun.
Oh,
like,
yeah. That's a box quote right there.
Yeah,
Destiny 2 anti-fun, Frank
it
White.
is awful. Like it's like once the constant like grind of new weapons like ceases, you get like you reach the top at like 260 power or whatever is kind of the top end, give or take a little bit, with the base game. Um, and so once you get there, it's you have your most powerful gun A and your most powerful gun B and your most power so you have the most powerful things you have access to, but they might not be that great as far as how they shoot or whatever. So I'm just not a fan of the guns that I am stuck with now. Like we've reached the point where okay, these are the guns that I'm going to have for the foreseeable future, because it is now really rare for me to get anything more better than what these are.
Yeah, so it's like they're forcing you to play with these guns that you don't like playing with, basically.
And it's like, well, now it's the like, okay, and the game started pushing me into the PvP mode, so I tried that out, and it is awful, awful. It's they normalize damage, so that way like a 500 power guy isn't just stomping everybody. So like a 100 power guy is able to kill a 500 power guy, because like actually like the game has like 500 power enemies that like wander around the open world maps, and they basically kill you in one hit and are 100% immune to everything you have. So they're just obnoxious, because they're higher level than you, and it's not even like you're doing chip damage to them. It just straight up says they's immune. Like, oh, okay. But so they make an attempt to make it fair, but like the damage normalization doesn't make that much of a difference when my guns just suck ass. Like my power weapon is like I mean, it's kind of neat. It's like a concussion blast that doesn't do a lot of damage directly, but if you like hit a guy against a wall with it, it does tons of damage. But I'm running around, and like these other guys have like high end exotic weapons. Like I played around against a guy who had I think it was a rocket launcher that fired like swarm missiles that like had some light tracking. So like I would just turn the corner, and like a bunch of purple things would just start following me at high speeds, and then I would die pretty much immediately. And so all the perks. So the damage normalization doesn't make that much of a difference with all the perks and like special bonuses and stuff you had. So I mean, I did okay. Not my best kill death ratio.
So yeah, what are the modes? Are they just like deathmatch or team deathmatch?
Yeah, the usual things. There's some like shared life modes where like you have a limited number of spawns that were kind of confusing, and like there's one that's basically Counter-Strike, like a shitty version of Counter-Strike, where you like there's no respawns. You have to have a guy revive you if you go down, and one team is planting the bomb and the other team has to defuse the bomb or just kill them all. So yeah, it's just all the normal capture the flag, control the zone, team deathmatch. But the other thing is that you can't tell who these games with these like infinitely customizable armor sets. Like there's 3 classes, and then everyone has a bunch of different armors. And then when people have exotic armors and they got like horns and shit, and it's like all about how cool you look, but like the silhouettes are completely unreadable. Like if you're running around these maps and it's it's a kind of a twitch shooter, and it's like it's unless you're have been playing the game for a million years, like I can't tell who's who. I can barely tell who's on my team, because the only difference is because it doesn't change anybody's colors or anything. It's just if they're on your team, they have their level above their head. and if they don't, then they're not on your team. Um, so yeah, just did a few rounds of that and like really
Not your cup of
did
tea,
not
huh?
did not get into it at all. Um, I mean the ability to use your like superpowers is kind of interesting, but also like not terribly well balanced. That did get me most of my kills though. Like in one of the teams with all life, or where everyone has one life, I managed to wipe out the entire other team because they just happened. Like it was just pure luck that like the meter, my meter filled up like right at that time, and I was the last man standing on my team, and like four guys were all about to turn the corner to just stomp me, and I managed to do the. But the other thing is like the powers are kind of poorly balanced in that I was using the one which is like the starting one for the hunter class, which is the where you just go melee crazy and you have like a big electric staff and you just kind of jump around and whip guys with it, and it's basically a one-hit kill on everybody, and you can just fly around. Versus some of the other powers are like you get three, one-hit kill shots with with a pistol, but you still have to land the shots, and or like the other one is like you kind of shoot an arrow that has a big glowy orb that like causes everyone in its radius to take extra damage, but they can just run away from it. So yeah, the powers definitely seem like, as far as multiplayer is concerned, some are much 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 better than others. Uh, and it's also weird. It's a completely different game in multiplayer because it's like a Twitch shooter. Like you die fast and you kill fast. At least
Yeah,
other people seem to kill fast. Versus the single player is like
yeah.
bullet sponge city.
Yeah, numbers coming off people. That doesn't happen in multiplayer though, huh?
Yeah. So yeah, they don't mesh well, and the game like really really like strong arms you into doing it. And then I tried doing some of the higher end like strikes or whatever, but like only the easy ones have matchmaking.
Oh yeah.
Like so, that's the game has like a cutoff for matchmaking where they're like, all right, well this is so why even allow? I don't understand why they allow matchmaking in these easy ones.
Because what, you're supposed to have a team then? You're supposed to have a
Yeah,
party
but
to
it's
go?
like you can have like up to 3 or 4 guys, and yeah, they're like, no, you have to like join a guild and have friends and stuff, and because
Uh,
I understand that like the really really high end stuff would be obnoxious to play with randos because you requires coordination, not in an organic way, but in a like, all right, somebody has to be standing on this platform and somebody has to be standing on that platform in order to activate the lever that makes the boss vulnerable or whatever. Um, so I can see that being annoying, but yeah, it's weird that they're like, all right, you can have matchmaking on these things where it doesn't really matter. Like, okay, thanks. So I tried doing a couple things like that, and I was like, oh, I didn't get any buddies. Oh, because there's no matchmaking. Oh, and the enemies are brutally difficult and it's timed. Okay, gotcha.
oh
Uh,
man.
and then I think the real kicker though is that when I beat the final boss, you don't get a trophy. You don't get a trophy for beating the campaign.
Really?
What you do get is spam, because I got an email from, I don't remember if it was Sony or if it was Bungie, but they're like, congratulations on beating Gaul, the blah 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 blah, the big fat bad guy.
Yeah.
Would you like to buy some DLC? I'm like, so you knew, your system knows that I've done this, but you couldn't give me a goddamn trophy for it.
Would you like to
So,
buy the ending, Frank? Would you like to buy the ending?
yeah. So yeah, I just kind of like, it occurred to me that like I was having zero fun at this point, and I was like, but it's so tempting to like, oh, you can go back and you can earn some stuff, and maybe that'll be the thing that you need, or the thing, maybe that'll be a good weapon, and yeah, it's like no, it's I'm deleting this so that I'm not tempted to dive back in and suffer some more.
Yeah.
So
Well, and then plus they get the 6 gig download updates that
yeah,
they're gonna hit randomly too as
um,
well.
Yeah, so people talking about like Assassin's Creed Odyssey and the microtransactions, and there's been a little controversy there over whether the XP boost is worth it or not.
Well, so
Uh,
the complaint is that the game is super grindy, and when you're actually playing it, it takes so many hours to do all this bullshit stuff that you pretty much have to get this $10 double XP bullshit thing, which that to me that is the dirtiest. That to me
yeah.
that's way
Well,
worse than a
okay,
loot box.
there's been a little controversy, in the other direction where like people have been complaining that they heard that and then bought it, and now they feel like they're leveling up too fast.
Yeah.
So I almost think we've got another people who are just buying and playing video games versus people who are reviewing video games for a living, like not having the same priorities.
Yeah.
Like, because I've had that happen where the DLC super weapon has like totally unbalanced the game and made the first half like really easy but anyway.
Well, Frank, you know how we talk about how we want these 10-hour games? We want games to be like 10 hours and beat them real quick. Well, you can. You just got to pay extra for them. That's the future.
So I don't know.
Right
Maybe it's working as intended. But at least with Destiny, I'm playing it and I'm like, this. I would like this game so much more if it was not designed around all of this microtransaction nonsense. Like there is a really really good like 4-player co-op kind of Halo-y game buried in here, and all of this bullshit on top that is meant to get you kind of hooked so that you don't realize that you're not having fun.
Well, it's like you got to charge $60 for this game and then still have this crap. I mean, it's just
Well,
give it
like
for free.
the game kept giving me stuff, or like not giving me stuff, but like giving me the option to like they're like, hey, look, you could buy this, like with in-game stuff, and I'm like, okay, and they're like, oh yeah, no, actually you have to buy the DLC to make that available. I'm like, well, don't highlight that one. Why is that one highlighted? They're like, well, they want you to see that you can buy that with the DLC.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just it's hurting the game, and also the game is really small. Like once I beat it, I was like, this is the extent of the areas. Like there's a lot fewer zones than it seems at first, because there's the different planets that you go to, but the actual areas that you're in there's the big like kind of open world area, and then there's the handful of like branching kind of missions. But they reuse the same stuff all the time. I actually I did a mission like in a underground cave area, walked out, started a new mission, and it basically told me to turn around and go back into that cave and now fight a different type of alien monster.
Damn.
In the cave. I'm like, I was just in there clearing out those guys. Now the robots are in there.
Some took it over quick, huh?
Yeah.
It's a good cave, I guess.
Yeah, so I don't know, just very, very disappointing because it looks so nice and it plays so well.
What was the last good like Halo game? Was it Halo 1? I mean, if you're gonna consider these Halo games,
it's the high watermark for me at least.
Yeah.
1 and 3 are the only ones I've actually played to completion. Like 4 was just boring. 2 is, I think people like 2, but I played it too late and
it runs it runs like shit. Yeah.
But yeah. So in other game news that I've been playing, I finally fired up Opus Magnum. So I get to play some Opus Magnum, and I hate it. It makes me feel dumb.
I have no idea what that is. That a quiz game or what?
No, it's a puzzle game, and the premise is that you are doing alchemy with a special alchemy machine. And so essentially it's like a puzzle game where you have little gems with symbols on them, and then you need to arrange those symbols into a product, which is just a configuration of
Oh
however
yeah.
many symbols. And then so you build machines, which basically it's a bunch of little arms that like grab it and spin it and then put it down, and like you have to use special things to like transmute them into other things. So you might have to like have the arm grab it and spin it one way so that it hits the thing to change it, and then spin back, but then the thing's in the way, so you can't.
Yeah, it's a hexagonal Rube Goldberg machine
Yeah.
for the most part. Did you talk about this before? Or did I hear about this game on another podcast?
I don't know. I mentioned that I was getting it, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I think I
It was
looked it up.
there's a Humble Bundle right
Yeah.
now. But it briefly, it had a moment in kind of the games press where people were talking about it quite a bit, because it's got a cool feature where you can generate an animated GIF of your solution. Like after you build your machine and you let it run, you can, when you're done, if you're especially proud of it, you can make a GIF.
Mm-hmm.
But I have yet to be especially proud of anything that I've made. Like everything is like just an awkward mess.
Yeah, I think
because
Go ahead, sorry.
it's and it really reminds me. The one thing it reminds me of, and not in a good way. It reminds me of my job. Because the interface is very similar to a nonlinear editing thing. Because you basically have timelines that you drop. So every time you drop a movable arm or other like piece of equipment, they all have numbers, and so you get tracks. So like arm 1 is track 1, arm 2 is track 2, and then you drop the instructions into those tracks. And then you like actually like hit spacebar to play it to see how it goes. And I feel like the pros at this game like know, like in their heads what the things are going to do, so they're probably not starting and stopping playback all the time like I am. Because I'm always like, all right, I gotta see if this does what I think it's going to do.
Mm-hmm.
And only about 50% of the time does it, I'd say.
You're scrubbing all the time. Yeah, I wonder if you gave this game. I'm sorry, if you gave this game to a kid, like, is this going to teach them like mechanical engineering and stuff?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is that going to incite them? I mean, are these are like real kind of machines, right? Like real principles, like levers and pulleys and cramshafts and all this crap, camshafts.
It's not really physics based. Like it's more like a puzzle.
Oh, okay.
Because it's most of the things that they are. It's like you've got an arm, it rotates. You can have an arm that rotates and extends. You can build little tracks that will move the arm. So rather than learning like principles of physics, it's a lot of like spatial awareness kind of things. Like
it's almost like Candy Crush in a way.
You're much more effective if you can like see in your head that, all right, I'm going to rotate this 2 units and then it'll be here, and then once it's here I have to drop it and this other arm has to pick it up, so the other arm has to be there. So like you're like lining things up in the timeline, and it's very intricate, and it takes a while. Like it's like a solid half hour per like level for me, at least. I mean, smarter people might do a lot better. And yeah, the tutorial, like it's got a decent tutorial, but then like when the game proper starts, like you don't have any restrictions. Like in the tutorial, they're like the machine is kind of like parts of it are kind of already in place, and then in the actual game, it's like just a blank screen, and you can put the kind of start and end points wherever you want. But then you are graded at the end with a histogram, which is kind of interesting way of doing leaderboards, where you are graded based on the space it takes up. Though, to be honest, I don't actually know if it wants you to be big or small. I'm always just kind of in the middle of the pack there, even though I try to make them very compact, but when I can.
Yeah, efficient.
But and then the number of moves that it takes, and then the cost, because every piece of machinery you put down has a price tag, and I think you have a limit, so you can't just like put down a gajillion things. But it's also just like grading you based on like how efficiently you can do this. So then when you complete a level, you see a histogram of where you fall versus kind of the community. Of like, all right, here's where the cost values are. Like most people are here, some people are cheaper than that, and then it's like it kind of trails off as people have other more expensive solutions. And then I'm always like right there, right there on the big bump. I'm like, I'm in line with everybody else.
So what are you playing this on? PC or?
Yeah, I'm just playing on the computer. It would be a huge pain in the ass to play on a console. Maybe a tablet.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, how about iOS? It seems like it'd work pretty well on that.
Yeah, and the interface is a little clunky, I would say, but it's got hotkeys, so it actually like you're using the keyboard to pick which like kind of block of instructions you're going to drop down on there, and it's kind of nice because they show you like all the things are arranged in the same order that their hotkeys are, so you can just look at that as the cheat sheet or just drag it over there. But yeah, really good like art style, like got a cool aesthetic, and I know I've seen some pretty spectacular looking GIFs of people's machines, but not mine. I took one GIF of mine just to show like how awkward it was. It was like all the two arms that like pass the thing back and forth, but like it has to rotate awkwardly in order to like not bump into itself. So like the arm rotates, but then the gripper rotates separately. But you can't do those actions at the same time smoothly. So the arm is like start, stop, twist, start, stop, twist.
Mm-hmm.
It's just not satisfying. I haven't got that.
Are you gonna stick with it though? You're gonna keep playing it?
Yeah, I'll probably pop in once in a while. It's not like super addictive because it's not a quick play game by any means. Though it looks like it should be. And maybe it is. Maybe if you're good at it, it is. I don't know. I'm not good at it. It makes me feel dumb. I hate it.
So, well, that's what you want in a game, right? Yeah. All right. So, there you go.
This definitely holds the Alzheimer's off.
Yeah. All right. So Magnum Opus.
Opus Magnum.
Opus Magnum. Wrong way. Wrong.
Yeah.
I'm dyslexic, so can you tell? All right. So there you go.
No, you said it the right way for the phrase. That's to
yeah.
I don't know, for SEO purposes.
Yeah, there you go.
Instead of Magnum Opus, the game is Opus.
That's probably what I Googled too. I probably Googled Opus Magnum game and found it. So, or whatever. All right, well, there you go. That's some video games for your asses. Hope you enjoyed the show. Remember, you can watch us. You can watch the replay on YouTube, or watch us live on YouTube. Usually on Thursdays at 10 Eastern. What, 9 Central?
Yeah, 9 Central.
That's 7 Pacific.
And probably some other times too in the other parts of the world.
And we probably will not give you an update on the Twitter account. Maybe we should do that. I should probably do that. But and Frank, I know you got some screenings coming up for the chairman. Do you want to plug any of your screenings?
Yeah, also, if anybody's in Oshkosh, Wisconsin area this weekend, it's playing Sunday at the Northeast Wisconsin Horror Festival.
Oh, nice.
And I'm actually going to attempt to make it over there, even though, like, I just can't, because since it's Sunday and like the screening block is like 11 to 5, like there's just not a great way for me to get over there, other than just brute forcing it. So I'm just gonna drive. It's like a 4-hour drive.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how far is Oshkosh from the cities? Like 4 hours, probably. Yeah, that's a lot. That's 8 hours in one day.
Yeah. So that's gonna be, because I was like, and it's from 11 to 5. I'm like, do I go the night before and get a motel, or just take Monday off and drive the morning?
Yeah.
But Yeah, there's just not an efficient way of doing this, so I think I might just drink a bunch of Red Bulls.
Uh,
It's gonna be a lot of sitting for one day though, to drive 4 hours and then sit for 5 hours and then drive four more
yeah,
hours.
yeah. I'm sure it'd be a lot easier if it was a feature film too, not a short. I'm sure, right?
Probably, but
Easier decision.
though I guess the features, the competition is much more ferocious
Yeah,
because there's obviously less spots to.
yeah.
They can't fit
To
as many
show.
in.
So is it gonna be? They're gonna have a prize and a competition and all that stuff.
I don't know if this one does. There's so the weekend after, we're playing in some more places. Las Vegas for the Sin City Horror Fest. Sudbury, Ontario for Northern Frights, and Oregon Scream Week the week after that. I don't know. There's a bunch coming up. Look at my Twitter account. I've got it already.
Yeah, for sure.
But
Perfect time to have it come out too, with
yeah.
October
Well,
and all that stuff.
October's a big for film fests in general for some reason. So
Yeah.
and then I guess in other related news for that, someone had the brilliant idea of they're like, it's a lot easier to get into festivals with web series these days than shorts because it's a separate category and it's one with fewer entrants for the most part. So they're like, yeah, I knew a guy who just got a short into South by Southwest by changing it into a pilot for a web series.
Oh yeah.
That's a really smart idea. So check back in a year or so, guys. Maybe there'll be more.
Or could you even edit it down to 4 or 5 minute episodes or something like that? I mean, I don't know. That's just a thought too. I don't know.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's whatever.
I already edited it down to do a 2-minute thing at one point.
Yeah, right. Well, awesome, man. Sounds pretty cool. So yeah, follow Frank, and if you're in any of those areas, you can not only hear his video game hot takes, but see his art.
It's a lot of Midwest stuff. If everyone's around the Midwest here, because there's also Eau Claire, the 21st, I think, and then St. Cloud in early November.
Oh wow!
So
there you go. Nice.
Been circling the area.
Yeah, that's pretty exciting. That's pretty dope. That's pretty cool. Okay. All right, cool. All right, well, that's the show for Frank White. My name is Chris Stotts. We'll see you guys next week.
Keep gaming.
It's an order. All right.